Popular comedic actor John Ritter put a face to aortic disease, though, when he suddenly died from it back in 2003. Now a foundation in his name promotes awareness around it. Joining me now is the CEO for the John Ritter Foundation for Aortic Health, Meredith O'Neal. Meredith, each time you hear his voice still from a Three's Company episode, you love him. It's hard to believe it's been more than 20 years since he passed, because he still lives on in so many ways for us. He was misdiagnosed. What do you want people to know about aortic disease?
Thank you so much for having us this morning to talk about this often underrecognized and underdiagnosed disease. You brought up John Ritter. Just yesterday marks 22 years since we lost the late, great John Ritter. And his family did start this foundation in memory. And so this coming week, we're shining a light on aortic dissection and what to look for. And so when you say what to look for, the number one thing that you can look for is your family history. We estimate that about 20% of aortic disease cases are genetic or familial. So someone in your family, a first-degree relative, will have been affected by aortic dissection in their lifetime. So that's your first line of defense, is has anyone in your family been affected by aortic dissection? That would be the top thing that I would tell people.
Yeah, and the fact that I mentioned off the top he was misdiagnosed, what specific questions should you be asking, and how do you know when you've gotten the right advice? Should we be getting second opinions from other physicians as well? How do you make sure to not go down that path of misdiagnosis?
Absolutely. We always tell you to think, what about the aorta? So certainly ask your doctor, especially, like I said, if you have that family history, for an echocardiogram or a CT, some sort of imaging, and make sure to be your own advocate. So if you know you have this history, or if you have an unexplained heart death in your family in the past, make sure you're asking those questions and saying, hey, have you checked my aorta? Have you checked my aortic valve? And make sure that you're saying those words to your doctor. That's incredibly important, to be your own advocate. Find someone who knows, is an expert in the aortic field. Ask for that second opinion. I love that you said that. We always say be your own advocate. There is nothing wrong with asking for a second opinion,
Yeah.
especially if you're feeling concerned about it. And if you find yourself with chest pain, I will say that heart attacks are far more common than aortic dissection. But don't be afraid to say, hey, have you checked me for that thing that John Ritter had? Have you checked my aorta? That's always a great question to advocate for yourself if you are having chest pain in the emergency room.
Yeah, really good to know, because it's scary, right? You think, well, if John Ritter got misdiagnosed, then
Absolutely.
any of us could. I love this. You have a nostalgic event planned for tonight to raise awareness. You've got this live reading of Three's Company with some of the original cast that's still around. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is actually personal to me as well. I had an aortic dissection back in 2018. So this is personal. So tonight we are bringing people together. We're bringing together Richard Klein, Priscilla Barnes from the original Three's Company, Adam Devine, Kaylee Cuoco, Tom Bergeron. The list goes on and on. Jason Alexander, all together to raise funds for the John Ritter Foundation. But if you can't be in the room, that's okay. We're live streaming it on johnritterfoundation.org. So please come watch. It's at 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific time this evening, and you can tune in and watch all the fun as they all come together to read Three's Company and raise money for this great cause.
It's so star-studded. It's incredible. And to see them reprise their roles as Terry and Larry will be awesome for people to watch.
Yeah.
Before I let you go, what do you think John would think about all of this some 20 years later?
Yes. So I was talking to Amy Yazbek, John's widow, who's also our founder. And she said, this is exactly what John would want. He would be here. He always used to do all the telethons for his favorite causes, and he would show up for all of his favorite causes. And I think that he not only would be there to lend his time, talent, and treasure, but he would just be so excited to see all his loved ones in one room celebrating and really helping, because his family might be affected. His brother had a surgery. And so he always wants to make sure, I think from what I know, I did not know John personally, but from what I know, that he would be thrilled and just so excited and happy to help others so that more families don't have to go through this tragedy.
Yeah, he would be thrilled. Well, he is still dearly loved and sorely missed, that is for sure.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.